his last ninja. Somewhere near Lalandi 21,185 Blockhead. After receiving her tanks from Prince Taurus aboard a religious vessel decided to head to the bar for a drink. Poop, somewhere near Arcturus. Helping the Arcturians with a small problem, made a call to Lockhead on the missionary freighter. Video call for Lockhead. A bellboy yells into the crowd with a video phone on a silver platter held over his head. "That's me. Over here," said Lockhead, waving her hand in the air, hoping the bellboy will look your way. The bellboy placed the phone on the table where Lockhead was sitting, sipping on a martini. The call came through. An image of Coop appeared on the screen. "Lockhead, are you settled in?" asked Coop. "Yes, the accommodations are just fine," said Lockhead. "Well, I guess this is where we part," said Coop. "Thanks for going above and beyond," said Lockhead. Coop over and out. The screen on the video phone went black. "Hey, let that be the last call I get. I'm not here. Get it, got it. Good," exclaimed Lockhead. The bellboy took the phone away. Lockhead sat at the table, took a sip of her drink, and tried to rest. All of a sudden a ring of smoke appeared next her. The smoke became thicker and thicker. "This shit is good," Lockhead said to herself and looked over and sees the smoke. "What's this? What the hell is in this shit? What's going on? What are you doing here? Oh shit. You're here for the map? Well, you won't get it. Intruder alert, intruder alert." "Level 4, Lockhead bellowed as she sounded the alarm. "You're trying to take over my mind, aren't you? Well, stop it. It's not working." "Hello," said Lockhead. "Now, Lockhead, just relax your mind with my mind. I must take you on a journey so you can more understand what you are up against." It was Surge, Prince Taurus's witch doctor. The witch doctor stood about 3 feet tall. He wears a hat and walks with a tall cane with a gem on top. The gem lit up with a bright blue light. Lockhead fell into a deep sleep. Lockhead's spirit transported nearly 3,000 years into the past, to a distant planet light years away, into the body of a princess meditating with her legs crossed and at least topless. She was very beautiful. Her skin was of a light olive green. She sits and meditates as townspeople are yelling hateful slurs at her window. She's a witch. Kill her. She's ugly. She lives in a big castle on top of a hill. Within the castle they are plotting her death. Her uncle and manservant is looking over the balcony looking down while they plot her death as a guard overheard. But there's nothing. "But sir, she's the princess. She's your own niece," said the manservant. "Poor child, why does she choose to practice such ancient garbage? And why does she dress like that?" asked the uncle as they walked down the hall. "But sir, she's quite good and the people call her a witch," said the manservant. "Yes, I know. And it might interfere with my quest for the kingship. Try to keep her occupied in the West Wing until my plans to try to take the crown from my dear sweet brother the king is succeeded. He will be here for dinner tonight," said the uncle. When the king arrived to have dinner with his brother, his servants escorted the king to a waiting area. His brother finally arrives, greeting the king, saying, "My dear brother, I've been expecting you," said the brother, trying to look unsuspecting of a plot. "My soothsayer said I will die a very avoidable death at the hand of my brother," said the king, not worried about his fate. "I know you are not going to give up your throne just like that, and after I kill you. And to keep your precious daughter from coming to take the crown on a technicality, I gave her a little birthday gift. The only thing, it's a prison chamber for dangerous thought entity. I'm sure it will respect her mind," said the uncle. The uncle then pulled out his sword and sliced off the king's head just as the princess walked into the room and witnessed the whole thing. The new king stepped out on the balcony to address his subjects, saying, "My dear subject, as your new king, my first plan is to rid our village of the one you call witch. My own nice, so without so much as a trial." The new king sentenced her, saying, "We the people of this village charge Rachel Shaya with practicing the ancient black arts. First we will cut off her tongue, so she will not be able to cast any spells on us. Next she will be exiled from this village, never to return. No one is to give her any help. This is the price you pay for witchcraft. Punishment is to be carried out immediately. No one disputed the new king because they knew they would be put to death before the dispute even went to trial. The princess was beaten and chained to the dungeon wall in a cell. The pain was so awful it invoked Lockhead to scream the only thing she trusted, Coop. About halfway on the other side of the galaxy was the Stingray with heavy cargo, helping the Arcturians with a small problem. Coop was on a new mission on the other side of the galaxy when he heard Lockhead's cry. Damn, what was that? He asked himself. He couldn't drop everything, so he went on with the mission, towing the new fort to replace the old one. An image of Coop appeared on a big screen on the back wall in a room full of troops. Okay, troop, listen up. I am commander of the Federation. We are currently en route to Terra 7. I have been asked by my superiors to tow this new Federation-issued fort, equipped with 30 evac bogey fighters. I love my ship. I don't want anything to happen to my ship. If we were to fall under attack, you will do everything in your power to protect my ship on my command. As you were, the ship's computer sending a message. Blasted female's voice throughout the ship in the new fort's intercom system. Separation in progress. Separation in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Separate. The fort begins separating from the Stingray. Smoke and steam was everywhere. Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, the remaining troops were fighting a fierce battle and losing. They were outnumbered and outgunned. Coop radioed to the troops on the planet's surface, ordering them to pull back and get out of the fort. The troops started to pull back. They run out the back door and headed for the hills. And now for the landscaper. At least this is the Federation's idea of landscaping, said 42. The Stingray sent down 4 electric blue orbs. The orbs were guided by 42. They landed right inside the old fort just after the enemy entered. Victory is ours. We have captured the fort, said the forces before they heard beep, 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 kaboom. The fort was blown away, leaving a big crater in its place. The new fort, now completely disconnected from the Stingray, begins its descent to the planet's surface. The new fort landed in the crater. It was a perfect fit. The troops from the old fort came down from the hill to join with the troops of the new fort. The commander of the new fort contacted Coop on the radio. Sir, the fort is secure and is fully functional. Great, said Coop as the screen went black. And then Coop turned his attention to Tau, the navigational officer. Tau, triangulate Lockhead's last coordinates. You must really dig her, said 42. Something like that, said Coop. Sir, the coordinates is set. Sir, said Tau. Good. Take us out of here. Warp 8, said Coop. The Stingray arrived at Lockhead's last coordinates, somewhere near Lalumdi 21,185, and caught up with her in no time. When Lockhead found out Coop was in the area, she called him on the radio. Coop, what brings you guys back this way? Lockhead inquired. It is difficult to explain. We are done with our mission, and we have a little time to kill. I will give you a ride to your next destination, said Coop. What about my tanks? Lockhead inquired. We will travel shotgun. I'm sure the bishop knows where to go, said Coop. Okay, said Lockhead. She greeted him with arms stretched ready for a hug, shouting, Coop, baby, long time no see. I've been thinking about you just a few minutes ago. I had a strange feeling of you calling out to me, said Coop. Yeah, I know what you mean. Lockhead went on to speak about her experience as the last ninja. I transported into the body of this princess. It was so real it seemed like it lasted a lifetime. I felt her suffering in the torture chamber. Oh, the pain. I was exiled from my palace, forced to live off the land. I walked for what seemed like days through the hot desert suns, and became freezing at night. I remember having skills and the will to survive the harsh wilderness. Her father's servants trained her in the ways of their ancient masters. The servants must have known something like an overthrow would take place sooner or later. They were prepared. He left her some provisions at an off-her-old training grounds, about 90 miles outside the village and up a cliff 9 miles high. When I finally got to the provisions, it was as if I already knew how to use the weapons. Weapons that are clearly from an ancient world, said Lockhead. Lockhead, can you remember the name of the people you were involved with? Asked Coop. No. Wait a minute, we were ancient people, we were Oriental or something like that, you know. Wait a minute, I remember seeing that witch doctor of Prince Taurus. I'm sure he has something to do with it, said Lockhead. Sir, I have been tracing the Mindbender and the Mindbender generator energy field. I traced a strange electromagnetic rip in the space-time continuum to the Mindbender's original holding place, said 2-Pi, the ship's science officer. So it was coming from us, said Coop. Yes, and it ends at the delivery point, said 2-Pi. So you think that Rico caused some kind of chain reaction? Asked Coop. It's just a theory. But my system shows the irregularity is getting stronger, said 2-Pi. Coop. What we have here is a paradox, said CP1. A paradox, CP1. You'll find a mathematical solution in anything, won't you, CP1? Asked 42. 2P's reduction is the cord is real, alive and awakening, said CP1. What, the cord awakening? It's a myth, isn't it? Asked 42. I don't know, said CP1. 2Pi, what have you got? Asked CP1. I triangulated the source of the energy and it's coming from below the planet's surface of Crayon.